Paulie, you ran around the neighborhood naked when the Cubs won the World Series.
Correct.
What will you do if the Bears win the Super Bowl?
The same or more, I guess.
More.
Can't do what you did before, but I would do the same for sure.
So you're going to run around a bigger block?
Yeah, maybe a longer stretch.
Yes, Seaton?
Why?
Why run naked?
Yes.
I was asked.
Asked. Yeah. You said ass, I thought.
Asked.
You were ass. You were asked.
In all seriousness, when the Cubs won, everyone was asleep, ran out of the house naked, yelled. No, very sleepy town.
Okay. All right. Well, now that people know that you could be doing it around here.
May draw a crowd.
Yeah. Yes, Todd.
Tough transition for you right now to the guest in waiting. Talking about Paulie running around naked.
We bring in Robert Griffin Jr. III. He ran around naked when Baylor was winning football games, right? Or Washington was winning football games or something like that. Great to have you back, the Fox football analyst. I was just talking to Boomer Esiason about going to the line of scrimmage, and you look over and you go, there's the 85 Bears, 86 Giants. Was there a moment where you went up to the line of scrimmage and you looked over and you go, oh, my God?
There wasn't, Dan, but that's just the quarterback in me.
Wow.
Being the fearless guy that you have to be to play that position. But I will say, when I first got in the league, those moments came more on the fact that I was watching these guys growing up. So the Bears is a great example. I look across the line of scrimmage and I've got Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs. And those are guys that I grew up watching and, admiring. So to play against them, to play against DeMarcus Ware, to play with Santana Moss and Chris Cooley at the time and London Fletcher, those moments really hit me. I got Ed Reed. Ed Reed tried to Ed Reed me, and I got him to move off the middle of the field and threw a touchdown against him. Those types of moments were pretty cool. I had one against Tampa Bay with Rondé Barber. And, he was a slot corner, had a really good reputation of being able to ride the inside slant and fall off to the outside slant and pick it off. And he almost got me. And Kyle Shanahan was my offensive coordinator in Washington during that time. And he told me before the game, hey, don't try to pick on Rondé. He's really good at it. And we got him on a 3rd and 11 on a slant route. And I threw it, completed it, looked at coach, and he was like, hey, you better be careful. So it was those kind of moments for me that were more so wow, I'm just blessed to have a chance to play against these guys.
All right. How'd the Giants do?
Oh, I mean, it's A+++ higher with John Harbaugh. Dan, I don't know if I've talked to you about it before, but John's the best coach I ever played for in the NFL. When you talk about identity, creating identity for your team, I don't think the Giants could have got a better guy, especially with the young talent that they have. If you just look at their roster, they have the quarterback in Jackson Dart. They got the running back in Cam Scatterbo. They got the receiver in Malik Neighbors. They got the young pass rushers, Abdul Carter, especially from last year's draft. And they just need direction. And that's what John Harbaugh provides. So I think I don't know what the other hires are going to be during the cycle, but this is the best hire. And the Giants knocked it out the park.
Is Pittsburgh a good job?
Ooh. Prestige-wise, 100% it's a great job. When you have a team that's only going to have their 4th head coach.
But let me take away that.
Let
me just give you the roster. Let's just look at rosters. Is Pittsburgh a good situation?
Oh, that is so tough. The answer, outside of the organizational prestige and the fact that you're going to get an owner that's going to be dedicated to you, it's not a great roster because it's aging and you don't have a quarterback. So I know that's what you're getting at, Dan. It's I think Rodgers is done. If Tomlin stayed, I could see Rodgers coming back for another year, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to deal with a first-time head coach coming back in there. And now if you're a coach, it's attractive if you're saying, okay, I'm going to have TJ Watt. Is Cam Hayward coming back? I don't know. He's been fighting with the organization the past couple off seasons for money, and rightfully so. He's one of the best players in the league, although he's aging. So if you come in and you think that one of these young quarterbacks in the draft is a guy that you can build around, then I think it's an attractive job. If not, it's really hard to go to a place that has a bunch of old players and no quarterback.
Would you rather coach Atlanta or Pittsburgh?
I mean, I'd rather coach Atlanta. And it's not because of, again, I think you have to put a lot of value in the organization. I think what they do there and how they run their ship is a great thing for Pittsburgh. But if I'm looking at it for division and talent, I'm going to Atlanta. I got Bijan Robinson, arguably the best running back in the league this past year. I've got London at receiver. I've got, potentially Kyle Pitts at tight end. Like, I've got a young QB in Michael Penix Jr. If you still believe in him, like, I can go in there and make that work and win pretty immediately, because that division is so, I mean, it's tough to say, but it's a weak division.
Yeah.
When your division winner has a losing record every single year, like, coaches should be falling over themselves to go to Atlanta right now.
What do you think Mike Tomlin does next?
I think he'll be on TV. He resigned, stepped down, so it's not like he retired. So Pittsburgh still owns his right. So if he goes and coaches somewhere else, they're gonna have to trade him. And if you're looking at a place like Atlanta, which he clearly fits in to the fabric of what Atlanta is, the Black Mecca, and it's like, yeah, but then you're going to probably have to trade one of those young assets or trade some picks to get him to go there. So I think he goes to TV. I think he's earned it. I think every time I've heard him talk, he teaches you something. And I think that's what TV networks, they covet. Personality, the ability to storytell. I think he's a total package when it comes to that. So I definitely see him being in a studio show, for one of the major networks.
Talking to RG3, Fox football analyst, and his podcast, Out of Pocket with RG3. Give me the surprise this weekend.
Ooh, the surprise this weekend. Boy, oh boy, that's a good one. I think the Bears beat the Rams. I think people will be surprised by that. Matthew Stafford, number one quarterback in the NFL, throwing the deep ball this year. And I think it's gonna stress that Bears secondary. But I think the Chicago Bears played the 3 worst quarters of football I've ever seen in my life in the wild card round.
Yeah.
And they found a way to have one of the greatest comebacks in playoff history. I think Caleb Williams in that locker room. Did you heard the speech after the game by Caleb to Johnson? That was so impactful. If you just know the whole story of what he went through last year and how he wasn't being taught and how he felt, middle of the year, like he shouldn't have been there, to come back and now have a coach that believes in you, instills that confidence in you. I think the Bears are one of the hottest teams in the league. And if they could even play 45 minutes of great football, I think no one in the league wants to play them right now.
Yeah, and I wondered about Caleb last year. Was he being taught? I wondered about him at USC with Lincoln Riley. Did he want to be taught?
Okay.
And what was he taught? But with Ben Johnson, you're going to be taught. There's no doubt about it. So there is a real difference in that, and you got to embrace each other.
Yeah.
And having that head coach, normally you're OC, but Ben's your OC, your quarterback whisperer, all those things. Just like Kyle Shanahan. I mean, the value of having somebody like that who puts you in those positions. I mean, that feeling when you go to the line of scrimmage and you're like, damn, this is going to work. This is going to be a touchdown. Like, I got the answer to the test. And that
Correct.
feels like Caleb. And I made the analogy. Ben probably wants Caleb to be more like Jared Goff for the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, you go be Caleb Williams.
Correct. And you're right. You're 100% right there, Dan. Personalities, they have to match. And when you look at Lincoln Riley and what he was able to do with Caleb, like, Caleb followed him to USC. It wasn't like he had to really try to recruit him to go there. Like, Caleb knew, like, I've had success with this guy. I know him. I know this system. I'm going to be successful at USC. And he was. Maybe not as successful as they wanted to be national championship-wise, but he was successful. Then you come in to a situation where you don't have an offensive head coach. That coach is on the hot seat. He's trying to do everything he possibly can do to save his job, but you're not taking priority there. And so Ben Johnson comes in, and I think they're on completely opposite sides of the spectrum. I think, Caleb he's painting his fingernails. He's wearing the craziest clothes. He's got a different personality. You hear him when he talks, like he's a deep thinker. And Ben Johnson is like a maniac. Like he's like Kurt Signetti. He wants to score 65 points on you. And he doesn't care. Like that post-game handshake with Matt LaFleur was hilarious.
I loved it.
Bad sportsmanship, like I get, but this is the guy that said, "Hey, I like beating that guy 2 times a year."
Yeah.
So I love that part of it, and I think they balance each other out. And I don't think Caleb Williams will ever be Jared Goff, and I think that's okay. When he was on the sideline during the game last week, and he was, some people were saying he was throwing little fits on the sideline and getting upset. I just looked at it as like, hey, when we do good, it's not good enough. When we don't do good, it's not good enough. And he held them to that standard. And that's why I think they got out of the rut that they were in. So I'm seeing massive increases in the leadership ability from Caleb Williams. And it's because Ben Johnson has created an environment where he can lead. I thought that was the most impressive thing. And I think they're flourishing together.
Finish this sentence. If the Bills lose in Denver.
Oh, Sean McDermott is gone. I thought for sure if they lost to the Jags, they would make an organizational shift. But I think the narrative outside the building is really strong right now that Lamar Jackson isn't there, Patrick Mahomes isn't there, Joe Burrow isn't in the playoffs. And, I've been very adamant and vocal about all the clowns out there that keep saying that this is a legacy-defining playoffs for Josh Allen. I don't think it is. He's one of the greatest playoff quarterbacks we've ever seen. You can list the stats. He's total touchdowns. I think he's first or second in league history. Total yards, he's number 1. Touchdown interception ratio, I think he's 1 or 2. So like he is a high performer, and wins aren't a quarterback stat. But if they lose with the same staff essentially and the same head coach, without those guys being there, the noise from Bills Mafia alone would be enough for them to make a change. So I think if they lose that game, McDermott goes with it.
How did the Niners beat Seattle?
Got to get pressure on Sam Darnold.
But they don't sack anybody.
They don't. They don't got Bosa. Fred Warner, I've seen his miraculous comeback. I don't know what he's taking, but we all need to eat some of that. But they don't sack anyone. They don't have the pressure.
Yeah.
But when you look at Sam Darnold, like as a coach, if I'm the defensive coordinator, I don't go in the game saying, "Damn, man, we can't sack the quarterback." I just have to look at the numbers and say, when Sam Darnold is pressured, he's a 50-50 quarterback. I think his touchdown interception ratio is 6-6. And when he's not pressured, he is unbelievable. He might be the league MVP when he's not pressured. So if you're San Fran, you have to decide, do you want to die fast or do you want to die slow? If you want to die slow, play zone coverage. Don't bring any pressure. Don't try to blitz him, and just see if he has what many believe is like a Sam Darnold moment where he just doesn't perform in the playoffs. Or you can say, you know what, I trust our guys. We're going to bring pressure, and we're going to try to make him uncomfortable, not just by rushing 4. And I think that's what they have to do. And the same thing on the other side for Seattle with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was 1 for 7 against the blitz against the Eagles. Like, I anticipate a lot of blitzing in this game. I don't think they're going to sit back and say, well, let's just see if we got it today. I think they're going to try to go make it happen, and that's how they beat them.
The Texans, to me, are really fascinating because people just don't talk about the Texans. They don't. And that defense has been staring at everybody the last half of the season. I don't know about Nico Collins. C.J. Stroud can't have that kind of game on the road. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they win that game. And they win it with defense. But, you got to get a couple of offensive touchdowns there and take a little bit of pressure off that defense.
Correct. Before we get into that, did you guys see the post-game press conference when Will Anderson was sitting next to Al Shazier, the linebacker? The contrast and how big of a human being Will Anderson I mean, that's a big linebacker, and Will Anderson was like double his size. It looked like he ate him for breakfast. So, like, you look at an offensive lineman and you're going against these guys, and Will Anderson isn't even the biggest one. Danielle Hunter is bigger than he is. I think that's an intimidation factor. But for the Texans to win, they have to do essentially what they did to the Steelers. They have to run the football. Woody Marks and Chubb had over 100 yards combined. I think it was 160, something like that. But they have to be able to run the football to take pressure off of CJ Stroud, because CJ has struggled this year.
Yeah.
And it could be new offense, Nico being in and out of the lineup. I don't know what it is, but something is off with him. So yes, CJ will have 10 great passes, and then you'll have 7 throws. You're like, where did that come from? So when you have that situation with your quarterback, you have to play great defense and run the football. The Patriots on the other side, Drake May, I noticed during the game, like, he got sacked 5 times in that first round. It's like, at some point, Drake May has to make the decision to get jiggy with it in the open field. He's got to use his legs. The Texans are top 10 in every dang near defensive category. They're the number 1 defense in the league, I believe, but they're the worst defense in the league against quarterback scrambles. So if you're Drake May, you have to say to yourself, hey, after 1 or 2 of these sacks, man, I got to give my line some confidence, and I got to break out in the open field and go make a play happen. I could see in my offensive linemen's eyes when they couldn't block someone. I walk in the huddle, I'm like, hey, we got 3 jet. They're like, 3 jet? Come on, man. I'm fighting for my life out here. And one run would give them the confidence, Dan. One run would give them the confidence to say, all right, even if I miss this guy, I'm still going to fire my hands quick, because my guy back here is going to have my back, 70% of the time. Maybe I'll give up a sack or 2, but I'm not going to get beat the entire game. And I think Drake has to take that mindset into this one. The quarterback scramble is going to be a big part of it.
I can't wait until after the game if the Patriots win and he has some of these runs. And he said, I'm just quoting RG3. I was just getting jiggy with it.
That'd be better than some of the quotes he's had with Cam tearing him down, right?
I know. Why is Cam tearing down a kid who idolized Cam Newton growing up?
It baffles me. And listen, I know Cam's your guy. He's my guy. We like Cam. But at the end of the day, they always say don't meet your heroes sometimes. And this is one of those moments. Like, Drake May loves Cam Newton.
I know.
And Drake May is like top 2 in MVP voting. I always find it weird when people hate on people or try to devalue them when they're having the greatest seasons they've ever had.
Yes.
Like, we're supposed to celebrate sports.
But Cam was upset the Colts didn't reach out to him, and they reached out to Phillip Rivers.
I know. That's a relationship thing, Dan. Phillip was there, and he knows those guys. He knows that system. I think sometimes in this media game, when it's everyone's trying to compete for attention, like, some people are trying to find ways to be slighted, and I defend. I don't think that I'm not mad that the Colts didn't reach out to me.
Are you upset you're not in the College Football Hall of Fame yet?
Me?
Yeah.
They did that vote?
Have you been?
You're breaking news here. I didn't know that.
No. Did you? You're not in the College Football Hall of Fame, right?
I'm not.
Okay. Are you upset that you're not in the College Football Hall of Fame?
That's a great question, Dan. I wouldn't say upset. I would say that it'd be an honor to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. I would say that, as a Heisman Trophy winner and everything that I was able to accomplish at Baylor with my teammates, that's an honor that I look forward to sharing with them. I wouldn't say I'm upset that I'm not in. I would just say I look at it as just being grateful and not worrying about that. That stuff's going to happen when it happens.
Cam is not in either.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I can go harder on that for you. I can go harder on that for you if you want me to.
That's legitimate that he would be upset. If he was going to be upset not being in the Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, he can be upset.
He should be more upset that he's not in the College Football Hall of Fame as a guy that won the Heisman National Championship, put a team on his back, and had one of probably the single greatest year, maybe him and Joe Burrow, single greatest year I've ever seen in college football. He could be upset about that more so than he should be upset at Drake May for being an MVP candidate.
Better college quarterback, you or Cam Newton?
Better college quarterback?
Yeah.
It's a hard question. I played 1 year college football.
You had 2.
I had 2 great. I was first All-American. Here's the question: Would I take Cam Newton over myself
Yes.
in college football?
Yes.
Hell no.
Great to talk to you. Have fun this weekend. Good luck with the podcast.
Appreciate you, brother. God bless.
That's RG3, Out of Pocket with RG3 podcast. Cam Newton you can make a case, like Joe Burrow had two of the greatest receivers in college football history. Cam Newton had Cam Newton. So if you want to talk about single-handedly, he's more responsible probably for a national championship than maybe any other quarterback.